Welcome to the Say I Do Chapel podcast. I'm Diana.
And this is June.
So glad to be here this week.
Today's the Juneteenth day.
It certainly is.
Yeah, so I heard a lot of people don't know today was federal holiday.
I didn't realize that myself.
And then the
I apologize.
banks were closed.
I missed that part too.
Yeah, a lot of the places are closed, and people are like, "What's going on today?" Because it's a relatively brand new holiday for America.
It's a newer holiday, right?
So, yeah.
Right.
So I mean, I've been seeing that, a couple of my friends and families having a hard time
Getting to the bank
Yeah.
or what have you.
Exactly.
That's funny. Okay.
Right?
But here we are.
Yep.
We've had an amazing week last week, I will say
Amazing.
again. Thanks to all of the couples, thanks to all of the guests that have now become friends that have come through our wonderful Red Door. Mm-hmm. We have had an amazing week and just a bunch of really great connections this last week.
A fabulous week.
And I see the wine already in front of us. Mm-hmm. So for those of you that do not know, June is the guy when it comes to wine. Anytime we go to dinner, my husband and I go to dinner.
Here's a wine list.
That's kind of what we do. Yeah, we have to make sure that we're doing the right stuff because otherwise we'll be very disappointed.
Well, mostly it's not about taking control. It's more about I don't want to get ripped off on the wine.
That's true too.
I think,
but that's your thought. But for us, it's more we want quality wine, taste, and we want to be able to just really enjoy it and have a nice pairing with our dinner.
To me, it's gotten to the point where it hurts me inside out.
Yeah.
Like when I see certain bottles in the list, I'm like, are you seriously charging this much?
I know.
Because I know
the markup is crazy.
Yeah, because I'm like, if you're on a strip, yes, 2-3x is pretty nominal, if not normal nowadays. But when I see like 4-5x, I'm like, this is complete robbery.
Right.
Like the biggest example is Kim Crawford.
Okay, Kim Crawford.
Kim Crawford, Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand. They're great wine. I think retail's under 15, under 20 bucks.
Okay.
And then when I see that at restaurant, if I see it 40, pushing to 45, I'm like, but it's understandable, especially depending on location.
Okay.
But I've seen that bottle on a menu for $75. And then that's when I draw the line. I'm like,
it's called gouging, is it not?
Yeah,
I believe
I've heard that. At that point, I just have a beer and not worry about it.
Time for the pint, right?
Exactly.
Speaking of which, what are we drinking today,
So,
Jim?
we've been drinking a lot of Pinot, a lot of Chardonnay, a lot of Cabernet.
Yes.
So I'm like, why don't we switch it up a bit?
Okay.
So today we have Riesling.
Ah.
I'm going to tell you more about it after I pour it.
I'm so excited.
So Riesling is one of the... Wow, this is actually really tight. There you go. Riesling is one of the few great varietal that I actually highly recommend for those who haven't really got into that wine world yet because...
Oh, it's a good place to start, you're saying, yeah?
Yeah, because red wine, especially as a beginner, it can come across too tannic. It can come across bitter.
Okay.
Same thing with some other white variety out there. That's why I always, I never really had a good wine. I usually go with Riesling first.
Starting there.
Yeah,
okay.
Because Riesling has it's a very aromatic fruit.
Okay.
So you can smell it all the way from here.
You can.
You can smell that right away. And then classic tone, did I say tone? Classic notes on the nose of Riesling is that petrol, gasoline.
I was going to say it smells kind of like sulfur to me.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Well, also I just popped it.
Okay.
Yeah. So because
that's what I'm getting.
You put sulfur inside.
And then can we explain for our friends what the difference is? Usually he's uncorking and there's a cork in there. And today, I don't know, I feel kind of weird that he's just screwed off the top. Is that a bad thing?
Okay,
Tell us about it.
There's a I wouldn't say bad. There's a negative
connotation, right?
Premises on the screw cap.
Sure.
So screw cap happened, history is this. It started with mostly predominantly New Zealand Sauvignon Blancs.
Okay.
And then they've been using artificial cork, natural cork. There's all kinds of different corks, obviously.
Okay.
What happens is when you're a winery, when you're making volume,
yes,
every time it gets corked, I don't know if you experienced it, when the wine is corked, it smells like vinegar.
Which means it's been opened a little bit. It's
so the
not
cork,
completely sealed.
So the cork, basically the cork failed to seal the wine completely.
Right.
Because as soon as the wine meets with oxygen, the wine oxidizes.
Okay.
So that's why we say wine goes bad.
Right.
It really doesn't technically, chemistry-wise, but for taste-wise, it does.
It does.
So when winery does their quality assessment, they look at the cork. Higher end, the more important it becomes because each bottle's worth hundreds of dollars, right?
Right.
So what happened was they're spending a lot of money on these corks and they're getting about almost 8-9% cork rate. Meaning every 100 bottle, 8 to 9 bottles going to get corked.
Ah, okay.
When that happens, retailer basically makes a claim against the winery.
Sure, of course.
And winery has to pay them back.
Right.
Yeah. And then that's bad business for winery, obviously.
Sure.
Oh, there's a police going on. I'm gonna wait. Perks of being on Las Vegas Boulevard, right?
We are on Las Vegas Boulevard. I kind of love it.
Where was I? Screw cap.
Right.
So what happened was they try to.
It's too expensive to have to claim the bottles now.
Yeah, exactly.
For the company.
Even on
I get
artificial
it.
cork, it's much
Certainly.
economically better to do screw cap. And screw cap, almost 99%, it's completely sealed.
It's
only, Only downside of screw cap is ageability. So you can't really age the wine. And then we actually have a couple coming in right now.
That makes total sense. We're
Before
going to take a break.
Sip, yeah, sure. I'm gonna do a little cut.
Cut. So we're back. We just had our lovely couple come back for their expedited marriage license, certified copy. Basically, it's the original. We went ahead and rushed it for them and got it for them a day later. So they were super excited to come in. And that's why we had to take a little quick break.
Because they leave tonight back to New York.
Yes, that is correct. They're heading back to New York.
So they had to get it in the morning.
They're so sweet.
So back to the wine.
Yes, back to the wine.
Screw cap, basically, I think I was at the longevity issue part.
Yes.
Basically, you can't really age it.
Right.
So the whole process of aging your wine through cork, there's still micro level oxygen going in and out.
Coming through.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how the wine ages.
Okay.
Obviously, screw cap, it's vacuum sealed tight, so
right.
it's nothing. So it's really meant for wine that's meant to drink early within 3, 4, 5 years. Obviously, this wine is intended for that purpose.
Okay.
That's why a screw cap's completely okay.
Now, what I know about a Riesling, not much, but my guess is, and what I remember, is it's a little sweeter.
I'm gonna go back to it. Let's have a taste first.
Okay, let's have a taste. Cheers.
Perfect summer drink.
Oh.
It's a perfect summer drink.
Wow.
Lemon.
Exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
Kind of pear, kind of taste to it, fruity, but really light and smooth going down.
It's like a grape juice.
Yeah,
it really is. It really is a grape juice.
It's like a white grape juice.
Yeah,
It's
and then
really good.
alcohol tends to be very low.
I was going to say probably lower.
I think this is 11%.
Is that because of last week that it was a little higher and
no,
we had to have some bread or crackers afterwards, maybe?
So, yes, so Riesling has a different type of winemaking. You can make it sweet style, medium style, off dry style, dry style. What we're having today is dry.
It is dry.
This is completely dry.
Now, see,
there's no sugar. There's well, there are wineries, we all know, that add sugar.
Right.
I'm completely against that ideology.
Right. Because the sugar is going to come from your fruit anyway.
What happens with Riesling is very naturally high in sugar, naturally.
Oh, now is a Pinot Grigio, maybe that's where I'm headed, is a Pinot Grigio sweeter usually than a Riesling?
No, Riesling's much sweeter.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
whoopsies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know much.
Yeah.
But I know I love it.
Pinot Grigio, it's much drier. Well, in terms of dryness, it's the same, but it's much more, what's the word? It's more citrusy than this one. This one, so this one kind of sits between that citrus and stone fruit.
What year is this?
This
so
is
that we
23.
can tell. Okay.
23.
It's really delicious.
So
How
it
much?
is Dr. Heitzman's Bergwiller.
He made sure he put his title on there, Doctor.
2023
Yeah. Okay.
Riesling, $17.99.
Wow. I'm not kidding you. It's really fantastic. I could see this by the pool.
We've been, exactly, right?
100%. Nice little rosemary chicken. you know, some sweet carrots.
Salad.
Salad,
Yeah.
so nice with a little bit of protein. The chicken,
It's a
I
great,
think.
it's a great appetizer drink.
It's quite nice.
It's a great standalone drink.
I like that for the appetizer. I'm thinking charcuterie board for sure.
And then this is one of those wine you can have it in the fridge, like regular fridge.
Okay.
Pop it out, serve it right away.
Ready.
Because
Okay.
because the cooler the better on this.
Okay.
Because you get that nice refreshing
He did really
style.
chill it too.
Yeah, it was in the ice bucket.
Yeah.
I kind of want to put it back because it's a little warm today. So
Yeah. It's really quite good.
yeah.
So
So $17, it
highly
doesn't break your
recommend it.
bank, you know. And then especially in the summer, I know I'm that way in the summer. I have a hard time drinking reds,
Okay.
especially cabs. It just doesn't sit with me.
yeah.
And then that's when I really look for.
I like
stuff
that.
Like this.
I like it later in the evening.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like the Spaniards.
Yeah.
You know, you take the siesta, you have a little nap, and then you come back
Yeah.
and a nice big
So
steak.
back to the sweetness part.
Yes, tell
This
us.
is dry style, so there's no residual sugar left.
Okay.
They completed the fermentation, so there's no sugar left in the wine. Off dry style is the slight sugar left, just so you get tinge of sweetness.
Yeah.
Medium, more, and then there's obviously the sweet style where they leave a lot of the sweet. That's more like dessert wine.
It
kind of
is
stuff.
wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm not a big dessert wine person.
I'm not either.
This I love.
Except we had this at Farniente,
Yes.
the wine we had a couple weeks ago. They served their dessert wine, dolce, with blue cheese. I'm like, blue
Well,
cheese
that's kind of a nice touch, I think.
with a sweet wine. Oh
That
my
sounds
goodness.
amazing to me.
No, the combination.
Yeah,
you know
that's what
how
I'm
blue
saying.
cheese could be that harshness to it? The sweetness from the
Tart,
wine, it
had to be
counters
so
it.
good.
Yeah, that
it had
was
to just
fabulous.
bring you in the middle.
That
so
was
nice.
fabulous.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
So yeah, this is a dry style. If you're completely new to wine, kind of want to kind of enter it, I recommend off dry style.
Okay.
That's slightly more, a little bit more sugar in it, but not to the point where it's sweet.
But honestly, this is fabulous. If you're
Yeah.
new to the wine world, in all honesty, I don't think I have that type of nose or taste ability. I will tell you, it's really wonderful.
I think a lot of people confuse the difference between the fruit
Yes.
flavor
Yes.
versus sweetness.
Yes.
I think that's how our brain just accepts this is fruit equals sweet.
Right.
But when I was doing my WSET training, I had to separate that.
Yeah.
Because sweetness is something detectable on your tongue. The flavor is something you describe.
Yeah.
So I had to separate that. Took me a little over half a year to train on.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of when I knew, oh, okay, this wine that's how I
Okay.
started doing it. Yeah. So best way to turn, close your nose. Just roll your wine in your tongue
Right.
and only tip of your tongue. That's the only
Okay.
place in your tongue that can detect sweetness.
here we go.
So
Okay.
that's how you can kind of go with it.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of my preconceived ideas on the Riesling and the
wine,
Pinot Grigio were based on Housewives of New York and Ramona. Just saying.
But yeah,
follow that
that's
stuff.
why I was like, oh, maybe we should try something different today.
Well, it's quite
Yeah.
good.
So obviously, this is from Germany, Mosel area. That's one of the probably most famous one, Riesling-wise.
Yeah.
Australia's really well made, so as New Zealand starting to make it little by little.
Okay.
But yeah, Australia
Very,
and Germany.
very nice.
Yeah.
Hey, in fact, we just had someone today, first couple from Trinidad here today. So that's exciting. We're going to see them tonight.
Caribbean.
Yeah, they're from Trinidad.
No, I'm asking, that's Caribbean.
Yes,
Okay,
correct.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
I'm not familiar with that
Lovely
country.
couple. She's having the makeup artist come to her room, the whole 9 yards. They are darling together 2 years, and they're getting married tonight with us late in the evening, like say 9:30 tonight. And they've asked us if we could stay a little later, and we said yes, because we try to say yes and I do to almost everything, that we do.
yeah.
And if you notice in our logo, something I wanted to mention last week that I don't know that I did or not, but there's a heart in the very middle of our logo, and that was very specific when June designed everything and put everything
It was
together.
kind of basically the key point of our logo.
Exactly. Is that we never want to lose the love that we have for what we do. And behind every ceremony that we have, every photo session that you are in, that we want to make sure that there's always love behind everything, and that we stay in touch as much as we possibly can with the couples that are walking through our door, and making them feel more like family and close friends, than we are clients. So today's subject is going to be more of surprise things. And also one of the things I wanted to bring up was what's trending and also in 2025, different than what we did a couple of podcasts ago. Things that are trending that I wanted to mention, and I absolutely love, like a fine wine that ages. Gen Z is so specific, and I love how specific they are. They're actually going back into, because they want to be more, I guess, kind of nature. They're all about like nature and preserving things and not being wasteful in a sense. So vintage rings, kind of a neat thing. Couples are starting to go. In fact, we had a couple yesterday that their rings were from a pawn shop. Now, they were a little funny about the conversation with the pawn shop and the rings, and I said to them, but here's the thing that you need to realize, because they were still had their rings on order, but they wanted to have some rings for their ceremony yesterday. Here's the thing that I said. When someone originally purchased those rings that you purchased at the pawn shop, somebody fell in love with them at some point, and they loved these rings. How sweet is it when you're able to go in and purchase something that someone else had and that they loved? I bought china, beautiful china, at an estate sale. Excuse me?
I was going to say the country.
No, I didn't buy the country. I only have like $1.298 to my name. But I bought a beautiful, beautiful set of china at an estate sale. And I will tell you, this sounds so silly, but I get it home. I'm so excited. It's the beautiful wheat with the silver. It is so beautiful. I bring it out every Christmas, you know, because you were at the house last year. I bring it out every Christmas. It is my absolute favorite. And the way I saw it was, this woman who passed must have really loved it and fell in love with it when she purchased it. And now I get to love it and preserve it. And hopefully one day when I'm not here, someone else gets to love it and preserve it. One of the things that made me cry when I did go through it, because I was going now and washing it, was that the sugar bowl still had sugar in it. And it just touched my heart so much that this person who loved it so much, she still had sugar in that bowl. And it was probably one of the sweetest things about buying something that was vintage. And that is what is trending in 2025. What is also trending are micro weddings. That's anywhere from a couple of people to 50 people. Elopements, anything from no one to about maybe 20 or 30 people, or 7 or 6 or whatever. That's what's really trending right now too.
The traditional big wedding is going down.
Yes, and what it is the Gen Z has this wonderful way of saying, I have boundaries. You're not going to ruin my day. I want it to be about us. And this is what we're seeing. And it is so exciting and it's so intimate. So if you are planning an intimate elopement, we're your people. Another thing is also classic vintage wear. So like it's the revival of like the Coco Chanel kind of look. So think like silver screen.
It's like the
kind of clothing.
Yeah, it's like the jeans with, what do you call it?
Are you saying jeans? Did you go with jeans? I think you just said jeans.
I just think you know what I'm talking about.
I don't think I do. When you're saying jeans and you're saying
Are they not jeans that one kind of flare out?
Oh, you mean bell bottoms? Yeah. That's a whole different thing.
It's a whole different
thing? But that's not the classic, like the vintage silver screen, walking down the red carpet kind of look, looking like Greta Garbo, I mean Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, okay.
That kind of steamy kind of look.
Much before.
That's what's in. The classic veils that have like not just beautiful pearls, but some flowers on them. The beautiful colored bouquets.
Yeah.
Not going with just your classic white,
yeah,
but going with some
peonies.
peonies.
Speaking of bouquet, we had that one bride come in. She made it on
I
her
know
own.
which one. Oh, wait, no, maybe I don't know. Which one?
She made it on her own.
Okay,
The blue,
remind me.
bluish, like a pastel color.
We've had so many, sorry.
I know. She made her own.
Yeah. Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
And then she made the flower for the groom.
Yeah.
It photographed so beautifully.
Yeah.
And those were, and that's another part of the trend.
Yeah.
June's on it. That's part of the trend is wood flowers or paper flowers. And his flower was a wood flower. And hers
Really
were
neat.
paper and wood.
Yeah, really. It photographed much better than I.
Really
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Yeah, it photographed really better.
And if
than
you
I
like
expected.
those flowers, Sola, Sola, makes those wooden flowers that are super, super cool. Also suits with men. Colors, burgundy, blue, forest green. That's trending as well.
I've seen groom when pastel purple.
Pastel purple's
Oh my
really
God,
nice
that
too.
was so good.
Now, what is trending in photography? What would you tell us is trending? I heard blue hour. What is that? Can you explain that to us? What is blue hour?
Blue hour is basically twilight.
Okay, because golden hour is,
I think golden hour is one of the most marketed term by photographers,
okay.
but for photographers. So,
And can you explain what golden
So-
golden hour
yeah.
is?
Golden
Oops.
hour is basically when the sun sits slightly behind the horizon,
Mm-hmm.
so it shines to the sky, so has that orange, golden hue.
Okay.
Yeah, but
What do you prefer?
I mean, obviously, I would prefer shade, cloudy day. We call it photographer's dream weather.
Oh, that's true. When it is cloudy.
When it's cloudy, like complete
So
overcast.
the UK,
or in the
hey,
shade,
my friends in Ireland.
it's really easy to photograph because so basically the clouds itself becomes your softbox.
Oh, okay.
You basically have your entire sky as your softbox.
Oh,
It's
so you don't have
beautiful.
reflection. You don't have shadows.
Shadow's okay. It's that harsh shadow we don't want.
Okay.
Yeah, I know there are photographers out there who uses that harsh shadow very well.
Okay.
Because that's the edgy kind of back to the vintage look.
Yes.
Because back then there's,
It's not the filtered, right?
No,
There's
yeah,
no
it's a
filtered.
film camera with the camera on the flash on top.
Okay.
That's how you get that harsh light.
All right.
It's kind of coming back.
Okay.
Personally, I don't like it, but when it's done right, it does look good. I give
right.
I give them that. I give them credit when it's due.
Okay.
But a lot of photographers do it wrong, I think, or they overdo it.
Yeah.
And then it kind of eats up the photo.
Yeah, one of the things I think I remember seeing, and I always said this, you never make your couple's wedding photography your style, because sometimes your style isn't what their style is when you're a wedding photographer
Yeah.
at a wedding chapel. I had one fellow I used to work with that he used to make you could have a red bouquet, but by the time it was done with
Edited.
his photos,
It's
he
like
edited it. Yes, they were like burnt orange.
Yeah.
Hated it.
Yeah.
I just didn't like it. To me, it just looked kind of washed out, and the photos didn't look so special. And I saw that couples weren't always happy with it because it was more of what he thought his signature was as opposed to, and he was just a wedding
couple liked,
photographer.
yeah.
He wasn't someone that people were choosing and saying, hey, I want you to be my photographer. He just worked at a chapel, and that's kind of was his style. I never really
Like this style.
subscribed to that.
Yeah.
It just wasn't for
Yeah.
me.
I mean, me personally, I keep it traditional, timeless. That's
Which
my
I
feel.
love.
That's my feel.
And that's what this trending, the 2025 is. It's about timeless photography, Vogue kind of editorial type of looking to like photos.
I think it's really, I think we're in that line right now. Currently, I will say, if we had this talk last year, 2024, I would say definitely vintage photography.
Yes,
The
love it.
old school 70s, 80s film photography, that look, definitely that was it.
Yeah,
But I feel
love
like
it.
right now, 2025, especially around like March, I've been seeing a lot of Instagram, been seeing a lot of other photographers' work, and I've been seeing the change towards we're going back to that traditional timeless feel
Okay.
with touch of edgy here and there. And then I think that's where I can really see some photographers' great work. super neat.
Yeah.
Because they can make it timeless with that touch of like their style to it.
Right.
That's really hard to do.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
was
thing.
just
That's
going
really
to
hard
say,
to
I
do.
don't see that done too well.
Yeah, exactly. Because sometimes they put too much of their personality, and then
Right.
photo becomes something else.
Yeah, because it becomes about that photographer as
So
opposed
you gotta
to the
find
couple.
that right in between.
balance,
and then,
right.
I mean, we know a few photographers, luckily enough, who does it well, and then they
Yeah.
do fabulous work. And
I mean, honestly, this is Las Vegas. There are so many great photographers. There are so many great videographers, ministers, just
There's great
all
people
down the
around,
line.
yeah.
Like truly,
Yeah.
I think what separates us, just going to say, is the heart, and the fact that we are always just all about whatever it is that the couple wants, and we're doing our very best to make sure that they have a timeless memory. And then we'd always like to invite our couples back after 5 years to come back for a vow renewal.
Yeah.
Always one of my favorite things. And I do have a lot of repeat customers, and it is so fantastic to see someone after 5 years, 10 years, 15 or 20. It really is like such just a wonderful feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
back
love
to the
that.
blue hour.
Yeah, tell me more.
Sorry, we
Tell me
sidetracked a
more.
lot. So blue hour is
His
basically
favorite color,
yeah.
and if you notice, we're all in blue
Yeah.
today,
Even the
minus
chair's
his
blue.
socks.
Oh,
Sorry.
please don't even.
I just no, but
you
I
had to.
But I had to point it out because you mentioned it. Number one, but number two. Oh, hi to the big bus. But number two, you're gonna see it. So I needed to tell you, he
should I
does
do
play
this?
tennis. He does play tennis. So those are probably his tennis little
Yeah.
anklets.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Yeah.
You were saying about the
So
blue hour.
Blue hour is twilight.
Yes.
After sun goes down, when everything kind of looks blue.
Oh, is that
That-
like when those cotton candy clouds kind of come out that are
No,
pink?
that's called second sunset.
Second sunset? I love second
So,
sunset.
Second sunset's a very, I would say, technical thing.
Okay.
Because a lot of photographers look for it, but also,
They don't always get it.
No. But they don't know how and why it happens.
Oh.
That's the key. I learned it when I was doing a lot of landscape work.
Okay.
Is sun goes below the horizon.
Okay.
But you have to have a right amount of clouds. That's the biggest thing.
Okay. Because it's got to shine, like, kind of come through, right?
So
okay.
it's basically we have our Earth. Sun goes below that horizon. It bounces up the sky
Learning
back to the
things.
thing.
Uh-huh.
That's a second sunset.
Okay.
But the problem with the second sunset is it doesn't happen where you're at. It happened where your background is.
Yes.
So you can have all kinds of clouds where you're at, but if you don't have that clouds where the background
I
is,
see.
which is
That makes sense.
it could be 50, 100 miles away, you're not going to get that shot you want.
I get it.
So that's why second sunset, that's
Hard.
a lot of photographers dream to work with.
Sure.
I had plenty of shoot where I waited for it and never came.
Oh.
What happens is when that never comes, blue hour just happens.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then everything just becomes that blue kind of thing. It lasts about 10, 15 minutes.
Okay.
So not long, so photographer has to like
It
hurry
has
up.
to be
Yeah, they have to get the shot
Yeah.
they need.
I've been driving, and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
sunsets here in Las Vegas are stunning.
When
I've
it's
been
good, it's
driving.
really good,
Yes,
yeah.
I've been
Yeah.
driving, and I'll go.
A lot
oh
of
my
them are
gosh.
boring though. I have to give them. I have to
No, but
warn
I'll
them.
go. I gotta take a picture. I gotta take a picture. By the time I pull over,
It's gone.
it's gone.
Yeah,
Kills
yeah.
me.
Second sunset lasts about 3 to 5 minutes.
And then here's the other thing: what you see in the eye and what you see in a photograph,
It's different.
it's not the same. It's just that you can't always capture it.
Well, because cameras can only see about, what was it? 14 bits, so, oh my God, I can't do the math. 15 million difference of shades.
Wow.
Our eyes can do about
Okay.
double that. Yeah.
That hurts my
Yeah.
head, but anyway. Yeah.
But
that's something.
speaking
yes.
of color science, just
Yes,
going-
please. Color science. That's where we are.
biologically, women can see more colors than guys can.
A lot of fellas are colorblind. Yes, I've learned that.
That's why when we call color,
Yes.
it's the primary color. Like, oh, that's red, that's blue, this is green, brown, whatever, right?
Yes.
Whenever I ask Jenna, it's like, no, that's
His
like
wife.
that's like blood orange. That's like, I'm like, it's a fucking red.
Oh, what did you say? Did you just say? I think he did. I think he used the F word. Fantastic.
Should I beep it out? I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Anywho, so let's get on to a fun wedding story. I've got a few
What you got?
because we said surprise, right?
Uh-huh.
I had one that was from the UK. Couple comes in from the UK. Again, we don't mention
Was it-
names. We just tell stories. Now, I don't need to tell you where it was. I don't need to tell you anything. Years ago. Bride is there. She's getting ready. Everything's fantastic. Dad shows up with his new squeeze. Okay.
Squeeze.
In other words, his girlfriend.
Oh.
Okay. Sorry, squeeze. He said squeeze. Yeah, girlfriend. And it is a very, very small party. It is his parents and maybe I think it was 2 brothers. And it was Dad and his new squeeze, right? New girlfriend.
Okay.
Right
Never heard
before
that term.
we're ready to go down the aisle, I'm prepping the bride. I'm kind of fluffing her dress. I'm making sure she's perfect to go down that aisle. And she says, oh, by the way, I said, yes. She says, I don't want my dad walking me down the aisle. So you're going to have to tell him that.
Oh, she asked you to do it.
She most certainly did.
Yikes.
We are like seriously 1.5 minutes away from start
Walking
time,
down.
go time, and everything. With weddings at other chapels, more so than ours, you have to be right on time. If you're late, there's a fee. If you're late, there's just crazy things.
Yeah.
You may have to get scheduled for later, that sort of thing. So it had to be on time. She tells me this about a minute and a half before she's going to walk down the aisle. Looks stunning. Dad's ready. He's anticipating coming back, getting ready to come down and walk his daughter down the aisle. I have to walk over and say to him literally, let me have another sip. I'm sorry, hang on.
Need some wine on that story.
Sir, your daughter has chosen to walk down the aisle
By herself.
by herself. And he says, what? He kind of gets a little,
Upset?
yeah, which I can understand. Don't know their history, don't know anything. But in order to soften the blow, so to speak, I said, I think she saw some photos where a bride was walking in and these gates are absolutely stunning. She wanted to have those beautiful photos of her entering by herself. And he just kind of shook his head and said, okay.
Go.
Went back to his seat, and we started the wedding.
And no fuss since?
Yeah, well, the hard part was that she did have to face, because, you know, usually the bride's parents or families on one side and the opposite, right? So he happened to
can
be
see,
sitting where
yeah.
she's going to be able to look. And I did say to her, you do realize that you're going to be within shot of looking at your father throughout the ceremony? She said, I don't care. And I said, well, I've got your back. So there you
Family
go.
drama.
Bride code. You tell your minister what you need, and your minister's going to make it happen. We did. She was thrilled. Everything worked out fine. And then on surprise note as well, had one of the coolest things ever. I don't know if you've ever experienced this. I used to be a limo driver.
You mentioned
Yep.
previous
And back in the
podcasts, yeah.
day, and I was called once to pick up a bride, but they were just recently going to be engaged. They weren't engaged yet.
so they're going
And
to
I
be
was
engaged.
supposed to, yes, and I was supposed to be taking this bride to secret spots all over town. The groom, how romantic, says to me, you're going to be taking her all of these special spots. You'll be waiting for her to take her to the next location where he'll have something else set up. The first spot that we went to, I can't even believe it, it was sensational, was I took her to Green Valley Ranch
Come.
Hotel. She gets there, the concierge there. They walk her to a suite where she goes and she gets to speak to, the groom's mother was there and her mother was there. And these women sat with her to talk to the bride and tell her what it is to be a wife. And they went through their experiences of telling her, these are the things that you would want to probably do in your marriage, you know, without taking away so much, but
So she had
they
a
were
TED
there to
Talk.
give her beautiful, yeah, but how dare you say a TED Talk? But
TED
they
Talk,
were there
yeah.
to say, we're here to support you and to love you. But I know my son, this is his mother, right? And also, I know you. Some things you surrender, some things you stand up for, but let us be those women who were also married for many years, give you that advice so that you have that coming into the marriage. Beautiful. I pick her up, she's in tears, it's so beautiful. I take her to the next location. The next location she goes to, now there's some concierge there at another hotel is there. They sweep her up, they take her to a suite. They're now going to do hair and makeup. Then she's given a beautiful box, and there's a beautiful dress. Her size, everything done to a T. She then has her hair and makeup done. She now places
I mean, at that
puts
point,
the
you
dress
kind of
on.
know, don't you?
Well, yeah, but it's an engagement thing. It's
But
him
still.
saying,
No, I know, but at
well,
that
yes,
point,
but
you know
gosh,
it's
how
coming.
romantic though for us girls. I'm just saying for us gals, come on, it's beautiful. So then what happens? Next location, she gets dropped off kind of like by the pool area at a different hotel. Candlelit pathway. Follow the candles, and there he is on his knee with the ring.
Oh.
One of the best rides, so to speak,
That he gives.
that I ever chauffeured in the city of Las Vegas. That was just
neat. That's
worth saying, and that was the honeymoon, or that was the engagement surprise. And then you remember, I'm going to let him tell you about the I almost
Honeymoon
messed
surprise.
it up. The honeymoon surprise
Yeah,
the
that
other
was-
day.
That was neat. Wasn't it yesterday?
Day,
Was it the day before?
Day before.
Yeah,
We've had so many
so-
couples. Go ahead.
I know, right?
We've been so busy.
And we try to remember all their stories too.
Amen to that, yes.
And so they got married, and we're making our small talk. It's like, hey, where are you guys gonna go next? And because their flight's literally leaving that same night too.
Which we had no idea.
Yeah, but actually, now we think about, we've been getting a lot of couples who literally fly out.
Yeah, we'll talk
same
about that
evening.
story afterwards and say
Yeah.
hi to the fellas. But go ahead.
And then they're like, oh, where are you guys going? And then the groom goes, oh, that's a surprise. She doesn't know where she's going.
Which we still don't know where they went.
Yeah, I really would love to know.
But that was the honeymoon surprise.
Only hint we got was there's one layover and they arrive in the morning.
Yeah.
To me, there's something that tells me it's either Hawaii or somewhere in Caribbean.
I was thinking the Bahamas. Totally thinking the
Yeah,
Bahamas.
right?
Yeah,
or
yeah,
like
yeah.
Jamaica or...
Yeah, that was my thought there.
Because
Yeah.
I'm like, so...
We did ask her to please
'cause-
contact us.
Yeah,
Let us
I'm
know.
thinking less about Hawaii because there's direct routes from Vegas
Yes,
to Hawaii.
yes.
I think 2 or 3 times a day.
Right.
So I don't think that's it.
I had a hard time sleeping.
So I'm like, one stop and arrive in the morning. That's the key, right?
That's the key.
So that means there's time zone difference.
Yes, there is.
And or it's a long flight.
Yes, it is. I was so excited
I'm thinking
for her.
like San Juan maybe.
I don't know, but I even asked the groom and I said, wait a minute, wait. Don't tell me. I don't need to know before
Can you
the
go to
bride
Puerto
does.
Rico without passport?
Yeah,
That
you
could
can.
be one.
Yeah. It's in the U.S. now, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so that was
Yeah.
so beautiful.
U.S.
And
Virgin
gentlemen,
Islands,
if any of you are in on our podcast, let me tell you, women love that. We love the element of surprise. I will tell you, this is probably why I married my husband. No one could ever surprise me in my life before. Ex, whatever, could not. My husband, he can reel me in. Telling the truth. He can also surprise me, and I would have no idea what he just planned. We women eat that up. We absolutely love that.
Surprises.
Yes, and then we did
Good
have
and
a
bad.
couple, and on ending on this great note as well, we had a couple. You'll see the review. Tony, hi, Austin. They literally flew in. Were married with us. We made it special. They were special. Now they actually wrote in their review.
Yeah.
Check out our Google reviews. That they felt like they had family now here, and
they literally went straight to the airport.
they literally went straight to the airport
Had lunch
after
there
being
and,
married.
yeah.
We said eat at the airport because they have a lot of great selections there, a lot of great things to eat there. That way you're not late. And then they actually called us yesterday when my friend was here dropping off beautiful flowers, which you'll get to maybe meet her next week. But yeah, so they literally called us back to say Thank you for everything. We had the best time. And honestly, from our side of things, June and myself, we truly enjoyed every moment with them as well.
It was great.
Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to add, June?
I just want to say thank you to all the couples who came through.
Yes, thank
was
you.
amazing, yeah.
We have been blessed
Yeah.
beyond belief.
Yeah. It was a lovely week. Another lovely week. Hope for another lovely week.
And for being open for what,
Yeah.
7 weeks?
I think we're gonna hit our 8.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and eight's like what? Hang on, let me just say it. Eight's like 2 rings stacked on top of each other.
The infinity.
Yes,
the
it
infinity
is.
sign,
So, cheers to that,
Yeah.
and cheers to wine, love,
And chapel.
and chapel.
Yeah. And weddings.
Amen. Thanks. I am gonna buy a bottle of this.
This never fails.
This is it for me for summer.
$18.
I'm loving it.
Ice cold.
That's a great recommendation. Seriously, fantastic.